Hey my friends, Diana here with Garden of Life Health Coaching. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I want to welcome you here to my garden and just let you know that what I try to do in these videos and any content that I put out is to give us something to think about, something that might help us keep a better perspective on life and the things that come our way so that we can truly live the most vibrant life that we were actually created to live. And you know, your life is truly like a garden, and it has all sorts of different interconnecting aspects that each require attention so that you can grow and to flourish. So today I want to look at, what do you need to quit? What do you need to quit in your life so that you can grow and flourish? And something that I quit a long time ago was trying to make the garden, and part of it you see behind me, this garden at my house and the yard, perfect. I realized long ago, I've been here 20 years, that there was no way for me to have it perfect, no way to keep up. And what was really interesting is over time I recognized that when people would come here and they were complimenting that it was beautiful or restful, or the trees and the different shades of greens, and like I have a lot of Japanese maples, you know, all these different beautiful reds, that's what they would notice. Or they would notice some of the flowers. I would think, wow, I don't have hardly any flowers planted because I'm so busy keeping up all the bushes and shrubs and pathways and this other stuff, so I don't take the time to plant a whole lot of flowers. But people just noticed the ones that were there maybe more distinctly. When I look at my garden, sometimes I would notice only the weeds that needed pulled, or the vines that were trying to grow up through things that had no business being there, or even trees. I mean, if you've ever had a garden, you notice how trees will just show up, like these little nut trees, or the privet, those little privet head shoots. They show up for free. And when you have a big space, it's very humbling, and you realize somewhere along the way to just let go and let the garden be its organic self and do what you can do and just let go of the rest and trust that the process will work itself out, and that the overarching end result is still beautiful because it's still nature. You know, and it's sometimes in the imperfection that we can be most nurtured by our garden. So one thing that I've noticed, and I almost took the time to deal with this before I made this video, and I thought, nope, I'm not going to delay the video. I'm going to do it anyway, and I'll pull a thought out of this. Is behind me, you can see a ground pine back there that has some dead in it, and that thing is huge, and I've not really loved it for a long time because it kind of took over, and it's hiding this beautiful Japanese maple behind it. So that's kind of a metaphor for life. What is overarching into other areas where you don't want it? What's monopolizing too much of your life? You want to kind of look at that and prune back where you need to. But in this case, this thing has started to die back, this ground pine. So I think it's a juniper specifically. So this juniper has dead ends to some of its branches, and I've trimmed some of it that I could reach, but some of it that's still there, it's going to require me to bring out my inner acrobat. I may actually have to stand in the water garden to get to it. Oh, I've asked my hubby a couple times if he'll help me, but he has other stuff he's worried about. And you know, it just hasn't gotten done, right? Isn't that like life? There's things that we mean to do and we just haven't gotten to them yet. So there it is in all its less than fabulousness, kind of lurking behind me. But it's just a great reminder. Does that little bit of brown ruin the entire garden? No. So a phenomenal person was over here to my garden yesterday, a wonderful businessman. And he made a comment as he was looking around and he was admiring, and I did a disclaimer. Do you ever do that when somebody gives you a compliment? Maybe on an outfit that you're wearing, and you're like, oh, this old thing, I got it at Walmart. You know, have we ever done that? Or with this situation, he was complimenting the garden and what a nice space it was, and I made the comment, you know, a lot of times I look out and I see all the things that I need to do, like weeds and things I need to pull and things I need to trim, and I mentioned like that juniper, and he made a comment. He's like, oh yeah, my OCD would have a hard time with that because I would always want things to be perfect. So let's talk about perfection. And I said to him, a garden helps you kind of let go of that, because you cannot keep a garden space perfect. I think maybe if you had an entire team of gardeners like they do somewhere like the Biltmore, you don't even ever see them working in the gardens out there. You know, that Biltmore estate, they've got professional people, but that is not our real life, is it? In real life, there's dead ends on the juniper. There's things that we don't get to. There's one aspect of life that's encroaching on another aspect of our life. Things are kind of out of balance, and things get a little haired over, and things aren't perfect. But you know what? That's okay. That's just life. And the overarching effect of a garden is still that it's a green and growing space for the most part, that it always can be improved, and that you're never ever done. And your life is a journey, and you're never going to be done until your life is done. So as you think about what you do in your day-to-day life, think about where you might need to quit. Is there something that you're doing in your life, maybe a committee that you're part of, or activities that you're involved in that really just aren't serving you anymore? Is there anything that's encroaching on other areas of your life that you need to scale back one thing so another area can flourish? So in the case of my garden, in this example today, that juniper needs trimmed way back so that the Japanese maple behind it can be more seen, so that it can flourish and have more chance at living up to its potential. And in trimming back the dead on that juniper, it will probably be healthier. So your life is the same. You know, how can you be healthier? By figuring out what you need to prune off, what you might need to quit. And I think really the highlight for me of my nugget for you today is, where do you need to quit even just worrying so much about your life, and allow it to be organic, allow yourself just to live it and embrace the moment. Like I'm embracing the moment right now with you here in this garden today. In all of its imperfection, we're still out here together. I'm still making this video. I hope you're getting a little blessing out of it and realizing, you know, I could have trimmed that and then what? Gotten all hot and sweaty wearing my professional clothes. That was not the time to trim the juniper, and I'm just gonna let go and realize that in the grand scheme of things, anything that isn't perfect might help inspire the next person. So a long time ago, I came to accept myself more as just who I am. I'm not for everyone. That was hard for me because I love people. I'm a sanguine, and I love people, and I always wanted them to love me back. And one of the challenging things to learn in your life when you love people is that not all people are going to love you in the same way. But that's okay, because there are people that will love you just for who you are. And learning that and letting go of the rest, I think, is such a blessing. It's like, don't try to force a plant to grow in your garden in an area that isn't suited for it. If it needs shade, it needs planted in the shade. If it needs sun, it needs in the sun. And so look at your life, and where are areas that you are scorched and just parched by the sun of too much activity? And where are areas that you need to be more well watered? So where are things that need removed from your garden? What are those things that you need to quit? And what things instead might serve you better now that you might want to plant in the garden of your life? So I hope these thoughts today are a bit of a blessing for you, that you can just look at your life maybe with fresh eyes and see what you need to see, and don't worry about trying to make it perfect. Just live it. Live each day. Take a deep breath right now, my friend, and enjoy the blessings of the moment today. And if you are currently going through a hardship or a grief or a really difficult time in your life, I want you to know that you're not alone. There's a Heavenly Father who loves you beyond measure, who is with you, who is carrying you through. And if you don't feel His presence, just take some time each day to seek His face. Get out in nature, look up at the sky, consider a flower, whatever you can do to reconnect with your Creator. And if I can help you in your journey, help bring some clarity just by listening to you and helping you work through some of these things that you're dealing with, I would love to do that. So your life is a garden. Nurture it and love it. Don't try to make it too perfect, and just live it. Live each day like you mean it, because life is precious and you are precious. So treat yourself accordingly and live your life on purpose. Take care, my friends. Have a blessed rest of this day, a wonderful rest of the week, and I'll see you soon.